You came here to the Ramla conference, and the panel which you participated in talked about the what is called the mixed cities with Arabs and Jews. First of all, I mean, we've heard a lot from you about the issues with our neighbors, the neighboring countries, but this is a whole big issue. What is the problem? What is the situation in these what is called mixed cities?
Well, there is a phenomenon, clear phenomenon of small but constant growth of the Arab population in those mixed cities, and a small but constant decline of the proportions of Jews in these cities, with little exceptions. The causes are numerous. First of all, demography within the Arab sector is much higher than the Jewish sector, and immigration to those cities is positive from the Arab side, coming from the villages or from the desert, Bedouins, while Jews tend to leave those neighborhoods when they realize that their neighborhood turns into more Arabic as it was before. So these two phenomena get together to change the demographic picture of these mixed cities, and nobody can ignore it.
Exactly. The question is if it can be ignored. Some people say this is a democratic country, let people live wherever they want. Is this phenomenon changing the faces of these cities?
Not dramatically and not drastically, but with the time you can very easily see the changes. When all kinds of traditions and habits which are not familiar to these cities get into these cities, especially honor killings, which we see in the area of Ramla and Lod, which is definitely something which came with the Bedouins from the desert into the city. And the friction between Jewish and Bedouin populations does not do good to both populations.
Is there ideology behind this? Is there something that is promoting the Arabs to come, especially into these Arab cities, maybe even to conquer these cities?
First of all, there are many young couples within the Arab sector who just want to live in a normal way, in modern cities, not in the villages, want not to live with their primordial families, because they want to live by themselves, don't want the grandmother and the uncles and the aunts in their kitchen. And they want to have a better life. They are educated. They want, and this is a democratic country, everybody can buy whatever he likes, wherever he likes. And definitely they want to have their conditions of living better as they can and as they can afford. However, there is a phenomenon of purchasing of agricultural lands by money which comes from the Gulf. And this is well known, well documented, when Arabs do buy large spaces of land from peasants, from Jewish peasants who live in settlements in Galilee, in Rosh Pina, in Yavne'el, in Chulata, in other places like this, only because those Arabs offer 3 times as much as that land actually worth. So, and definitely this money come in many cases from the Gulf, and definitely there is some kind of ideology to buy again those lands from the Jewish people back to the Arabs here in Israel.
How do they really relate to all the talk about this is a Jewish land for the Jewish state? We heard, of course, the rabbis who went out against giving, selling, or even renting lands to Arabs. There are even official Israeli authorities which are supposed to sell lands or to promote lands and develop lands for Jews. How do they relate to that?
Well, during the last 20 years, especially because of verdicts of the Supreme Court, the discrimination with brackets or without brackets is not allowed, and Arabs have the same right on the lands of the country, even if those lands were bought by the Jewish National Fund during the last century. Yet today according to the verdicts of the Supreme Court, the state cannot discriminate between Jews and Arabs when it comes to purchasing of those lands to individuals.
And that strengthens their belief that the land belongs to everyone, at least, if not to them, but to everyone.
Definitely. This is how the Jewish nation might lose its lands, which Jews bought for more than a century with a penny in a penny through the JNF, the Jewish National Fund. And because of these verdicts of the Supreme Court, the Jewish nation might lose, at least partially, what was bought by the JNF.